looked so nice yesterday when it was
Okay.
done. Hi. Oh, well no, you go.
Hi, I'm Liz.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and together we're the Aesthetics Complications Coaches.
And we're here today with the lovely Jo, one of our students. We just want to ask her a few questions about complications and what bothers her, and, you know, on a daily basis, what's her fears with aesthetics and how she gets over them, basically. So
we can help with our expertise alleviate the fears, and with our new course that we're running on the 18th of June, and how to manage the various complications caused by Botox and filler. So, Jo, do you want to ask some questions?
yeah, so Jo, tell us about what you do at the moment, where you're from and what you do.
Okay, so I am Shropshire-based aesthetics practitioner with a bit of beauty on the side, so lashes, brows and facials, but mostly aesthetics, so do fillers, skin boosters and Botox, or anti-wrinkle, I should say.
And some fillers as well.
Yeah, and fillers, yeah.
Okay, and so how long have you been doing it for?
Since last year, unofficially, when I was working full-time, so I did a little bit of both, so it took me a while to get going because it wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
But really since January this year, so I'm still fairly new to it and still growing my business.
Okay, and what is your main fear?
So it depends on the treatment.
So say if you're doing Botox for somebody, you do quite a lot of Botox, don't you?
So in terms of Botox, my biggest fear more than anything is ptosis, so an eyelid or a brow droop. And probably more nervous around those clients that it's their first time because they've never experienced the feeling of having Botox before. So I'm very conscious of going into the wrong areas, potentially putting too much in. And I suppose at the moment, because we've lost a particular brand, using different brands makes it that bit harder because I'm using different product and different reconstitutions. So that's had a bit of an impact on my administering of that.
Okay. And with filler, what is your sort of general concerns around filler, and then obviously the main ones that you have?
So I suppose to start off with, there's so many different types of fillers out there, is really identifying what's the best one for my client. When I'm doing my fillers, it's around bruising and swelling, especially around lips. As we know that there could be lots of complications around, so that makes me quite nervous. Infections and sites, so I'm really clear with my aftercare, but again, if that client doesn't follow through. And then vascular occlusions,
the big one.
The big one. That's hitting that nerve, that artery or anything like that. That's the thing that scares me. And I have to say, I can feel anxious pre, and even when the procedure's done, I can feel anxious afterwards until I know 24 hours later that client is okay and starting to see results. And I suppose the other one is, because it's instant with fillers, is that client looking into the mirror and maybe not ultimately immediately happy. So I suppose that's a bit of a general one as well.
Expectations.
It's
exactly. Also generally hard.
Yeah.
And have you ever experienced or heard of anaphylaxis whilst you've been
I
doing
have
this?
heard of it. I've never experienced it. I've trained in it before, but because it's not something that you do on a daily basis, it's something I would find quite scary, and I would feel really nervous having to manage it again. So I read about it, but
did you train on anaphylaxis in your initial training when you did?
No, I was told about, in my training, I was told about anaphylaxis and what it is, but I wasn't trained in how to manage it, what product to use or administering it.
So you wouldn't know how to either give an EpiPen or draw up adrenaline and give that. That's not something you've practiced before. You've just read about it and been given the theory.
Yes. I've been given the theory. I've never had to do it. And I've never practiced it in any shape or form.
But you think you'd be scared to do that I think anybody would be. But it's a bit nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's as much as knowing what to do, instinctively, if something started to go wrong, I am probably one of those people that would probably not be as calm as I should be, because I've never dealt with that before.
Yeah.
And it's all about timing. I know that the time is the essence of that. So yes, I think that would be one of the most beneficial, as well as dealing with VO.
Yeah, brilliant.
So you'd recommend to, you know, another complications course. You're not taught a lot in your initial training, so you'd recommend to have further training on that to really know what you're doing and to feel confident.
Well, we'll have training on it, and I will probably do that twice a year, because as I've mentioned, you don't get to practice that a lot because
So it's good for a recap.
Exactly, and to refresh yourself in quantities and the needles, etc. So my belief is that it should be something that's done regularly, at least twice a year or at least once a year, to really understand and feel prepared in those circumstances.
And most complications courses that you've been on so far are just very very theory based. There's no practical element to them.
No,
Is that right?
It's been theory based. The practical side of it has been going through the equipment, the needles, the adrenaline, looking at all the dates, etc. So dealing with the product, but not physically having.
So no
to
scenarios as such.
No.
Okay, all right. So thank you for
Thank
talking
you.
to us today.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to know more about our complications course, then please message Liz directly and she will send you all the information.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
I was conscious then because I was
Bye.
thinking